Wayne Reeves is back for some more Lord Brocktree. Let's jump in. Chapter 7. The night that fell over the three companions on the stream bank also lowered its shades over Salamandastron in the western shores. Silently, with furled sails, ships drifted on the flood tide. Out of the thinning mist they slid, headed for the shore on a quiet swell. Ships upon ships upon ships, craft of every description, from single to foremast, flat-bottomed, deep-keeled, bulky, and sleek, large and small. Any creature could have walked the length of the sea, a league from north to south, by stepping from ship to ship without once wetting a paw. Then came the blue hordes of Ungatrun from north and south, marching along the shores, and sounds of their footfalls muffled in the sands, in columns 50 feet deep and 50 long. Following their commanders, no war drums were seen, nor trumpets, nor any other instrument, flute, cymbal, or horn to aid the marching. Starlight glinted dully off armor, spear-tipped blade, and arrowhead as they came, closing in on Salamandastron, like the jaws of a giant pincer. Inscrutable masses, perfectly drilled, the ultimate machine of destruction. Flanked by 20 soldiers, Ungatrun strode up to the rocky fortress, his only illumination, a torch held in the paws of Grodil. The wildcat's keen eyes flicked up to the stone-open rectangle of Stonepaw's room. There stood the Badger Lord of Salamandastron, clad in war armor, holding an enormous javelin. "So you're still here, Striped Dog?" Ungatrun called up in his savage, brutal growl. The reply was immediate. "Aye. To death, Striped Cat." The wildcat's fangs showed a sneer of derision. "So be it. 'Twill be your death, not mine." "Big words," Stonepaw retorted mockingly. "I've heard big words from some bad-mannered scum you sent earlier today. They mean naught to me. The ravings of fools and idiots. Your messenger said you would make the stars fall from the sky. Look up, braggart. They're still there and always will be." The badger's words stung the wildcat. His voice quivered with rage as he detected the laughter of hares all around. "I have no more words for you, Striped Dog. Tell them, Fergoyle." Like a ghost, the hooded figure materialized out from the night. "These are the days of Ungatrun, the fearsome beast. Know you that he speaks the truth. If he says the stars will fall from the sky, then even they must obey. Look." Flung a paw full of powder on his palely burning torch. With a whoosh, it shot up, a bolt of brilliant blue flame. This was the signal. Every beast of the horde onshore and every creature crowding the decks on the hovering ships immediately lighted, each one a torch they carried specifically for the purpose. In the awesome scene that was revealed, land and sea, as far as the eye could gaze, was ablaze. Stiffener Medic peered up at the sky. Because of the intensity of the light below, not a single star could be seen, just a wide black void. Any creature on the reaches of Salamandastron Heights could look out and see the countless myriads of lights ranging out into the horizon. At another signal from Grodil, the 20 guards nearest the mountain roared out aloud. "Mighty Ungatrun has made the stars fall from the sky." Every hair on the mountain was stunned with shock. The seas and the whole shore were ablaze with light. It was like having day below and night above. The stars were invisible in the sky due to the powerful light radiating upwards. Grodil held a whispered conference with Ungrat and said the wildcat nodded before speaking out. His voice echoed off the mountain in awestruck silence. "I see you have no scornful comments to make, Striped Dog. You have witnessed the power of Ungatrun. My blue hordes will camp here on your doorstep. When dawn comes, you will feel the earth shake. You have it left to retreat from the mountain as I commanded you to do so. Now you must reap the penalty." Then, turning his back to Lord Stormpaw, the wildcat marched off back to his ship. The Badger Lord watched as the torches turned into campfires. Bramwell, the oldest hare on the mountain, came shakily forward to clutch the badger's paw, his voice trembling like a reed in the wind. "Lord, I would not have believed it had I not seen it with my old eyes. What can we do against this truly magic?" Stonepaw patted Bromwell's stooped back gently. "That was no magic, my friend. 'Twas only a very clever trick. An illusion. But the reality of all those lights is a fearful thing, for it shows the extent of Trun's army. Trilby, your eyes are still useful. Could you have counted the number of torches out there?" Trilby shook his head vigorously. "You must just, sire. No beast alive could do that." Stiffener's comment confirmed Stonepaw's worst fears. "Aye, and every one of those torches was held by a vermin soldier. 'Tis hard to imagine such an army." Stonepaw stared at the campfires, burning holes into the night, both near and far. "No doubt you all heard what the wildcat had to say. We've left it too late to retreat." Silently, the hares pondered the enormity of what their lord had said, but the feeling of doom was broken when Stiffener Medic spoke out boldly. "So what do we do? Stand around waiting to be conquered and slain?" "This here, no sir. Chin in, chest out, stiffen the old lip and stand firm. Maybe that scum can make the stars fall Stonepall and tremble, but let's see him crack a mountain with us to defend it. Lord Stonepall's eyes lit up with flame of battle. Stiffener, gather my hairs at every ledge and window. Let's show the vermin what we think of them. Umgat came hurrying from his stateroom cabin as defiant roaring of Salamandrastron ripped through the night stillness. Yulia! 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 Groddle hobbled behind his master and spat contemptuously into the sea. Fools, do they think they can scare us with battle cries? Umgat did not even deign to look at the shrunken fox. No, they don't mean to scare us, but they're letting us know that they aren't scared either. That's called courage, Groddle. But you wouldn't understand it. If those hairs were enough in number to match us 1-to-1, then I'd be scared. Dawn arrived pale-washed, though in less than an hour, it blossomed into a beautiful late spring day, showing the promise of a good summer. Lord Stonepall had witnessed the day's arrival. He had scarcely slept through the night. Now sitting on the edge of his bed in a warm shaft of sunlight, he fell into a doze. Blench the cook shook him gently. Wake up, sire. Those villains are waiting to see you outside on the shore. I brought you a bite of breakfast. Stonepall opened his eyes slowly and winced. Oh, don't ever fall asleep wearing armor, Blench. It feels like waking up in a cooking pot. I suppose the wildcat villain is showing off his army at our gates. Blench paced a tray of food at his side. Aye, there's all manner of blue-dyed vermin prattling up and down on the beach. In full fig, too. Mercy me, they're a strange lot. Do you think they're about to start the war? The Badger Lord chose a warm damson muffin and poured himself a beaker of dandelion and horsehip tea. More than likely, Blench, more than likely. I felt peckish this morning. Let them wait until I've broken my fast. Did you bring any honey? Right there under your muzzle, Lord. Stonepall spread honey on his muffin. You run along now, Marm, and see that the hares get fed. As she withdrew, Blench chuckled. Fat chance any Salamandrastron hare go into battle on an empty belly. Did you ever hear of such a thing? Umgat stood on a rock, Groddle and his Grand Fergoyle aside him, and looked around the western shores. Nodding in satisfaction, he turned to the fox and the ferret. Can you see the sand? Fergoyle shook her hooded head. No, mightiness, only blue hordes. They are in such great numbers that no beast could see the sands they stand upon. They are even shoulder to shoulder in the shallows. Umgat fixed his stern eye upon the shrunken fox. Another trick you missed, eh, Groddle? The magician cringed as he shook his head in bewilderment. Sire? Umgat paw swept across, indicating the scene. Not only can I make the stars fall, but I can also cause the land to disappear. Use your head, stupid. Thinking to divert his master's wrath, Groddle pointed to the mountain, but the striped dog shows his insolence by not bothering to appear and witness your power, O exalted one. That is a mere ploy which true commanders of armies use upon one another. Umgat replied scornfully. He thinks to fray my temper by keeping me waiting. Have you no brains at all? I should have you slain with the rest of your family, eh, Groddle? Lowering his head, the fox mumbled humbly. I thank you for sparing my life every day since, sire. Umgat smiled dispassionately at the fox's bowed head. I think I must have damaged your brain when I crippled your back. Ha! There's the striped dog at his window. Turning his attention to the mountain, the wildcat did not see the hate-laden glance that Groddle had shot at him. Lord Stonepall and a dozen archers looked down from the window, showing no surprise at the masses of vermin crowding the shores. A fine day to die, eh, striped dog? Umgat called. The badger smiled down in a patronizing way. So soon, cat? I thought you were going to make the earth tremble. Can you not spare us long enough to see your next trick? At a nod from Umgat, the Fergoyle led a red banner high and announced aloud, let the enemies of Umgat feel the earth tremble. The entire army began to jump up and down in perfect unison, chanting as they did, Umgat Thrun, Umgat Thrun, Umgat Thrun. As the Fergoyle waved her banner, they had increased their speed, jumping into the air and landing hard onto the sand, their chant becoming a roar, the noise of countless footfalls stamping down becoming greater. Water splashed high in the tide line, and clouds of sand began rising as they continued their relentless pounding. Though he could scarcely be heard above the din, the hare named Bungworthy funneled both his paws around his mouth and shouted at Stonepall, Look, Lord, the earth is shaking, see? Great ripples are spreading seawards. The shore is shaking where they jump. Great seasons, the earth is shaking, it's shaking. As suddenly as it started, the demonstration stopped. Umgat stood smiling grimly up at Stonepall as the sand clouds settled and the ripples receded. Well, striped dog, did you feel the earth shake? Did I not speak truly? Throw down your arms and come out. Umgat climbed down from his rock perch and stood at the head of his army, confident he had made his point. Lord Stonepall merely grunted, Ha! You might have felt the earth tremble, cat. But Salamandrastron remained rock firm. We didn't feel a thing. Now let me show you something. Stonepall hurled his war javelin right at his foe. The ranks closed around the wildcat. A rat transfixed fell dead. Another behind him stood sorely wounded. Salamander. No matter how fearsome the foe, or how great their numbers, when it came to fighting, Badgerlords are renowned. Old as he was, the present ruler was no exception. Lord Stonepole of Salamandastron had begun the war. Fleetscott was close to exhaustion. The old hare had not stopped since he left the mountain, ranging east to begin with, then sweeping back west. With a great arc, he searched hills, flatlands, and valleys and cliff tops, finally arriving back on the shores, somewhere north of Salamandastron. Slumping down on the beach, he waited until his breath calmed a bit before unslinging a small pack and drinking some cold mint tea. Like an angry wasp, a barbed arrow buzzed by the hare, nicking his ear and burying itself in the sand. A small patrol, 10 rats from the great blue hordes emerged from the dunes behind Fleetscott. "Stop there! Move and you die!" their officer shouted. With blood trickling from his ear onto his jaw, Fleetscott took off as only a hare can, galvanized back to his former self as he sought to lose his pursuers. But the rats were hard on his paws as he led them on a twisting course around the shore, back onto the dunes. With his footpaws sinking deep into the soft sandhills, Fleetscott panted raggedly. Strong sunlight beating down on him as he breasted one dune and rolled down it to face another. He wished with all his heart he were many seasons younger. He could have drawn circles around the rat patrol when he was a leveret. Every so often, arrows zipped into the sand alongside him. Once a spear almost pierced his paw. Fleetscott kept going. He knew that a moving target was hardest to hit. Now, as he turned inland, the dunes gave way to hammocks and hillocks, coated with sharp, long-bladed glass. He tripped over a blackberry creeper, leaping up as best he could, ignoring the scratches the thorns had inflicted on him. But he could hear the labored breathing of the 10 rats getting closer. "Fan out and circle them! Lame them if you can," their leader rasped out, straining as though his lungs would burst. Fleetscott managed an extra burst of speed, dashing headlong to outdistance the flanking maneuver. A small grove of pines appeared up ahead, seeming to offer hiding place. But one rat, faster than the rest, detached himself from the flankers and went directly after the hare. No matter how hard he ran, Fleetscott could not prevent the rat closing up to him. Now, he was not more than 10 paces behind. Chancing a backward glance, Fleetscott saw the rat preparing a spear for a throw. Then his footpaws hit thick beds of pine needles as he dived headlong into the grove, the spear thudding into a pine trunk a fraction to his side. Next moment, there was a sound of meaty thud. The rat fell over perplexed, his scream cut short by a slingshot. "Up with thy paws, Oldham, and quick!" Without thinking, Fleetscott rolled over and threw up his paws. A thick hovering net enveloped him, and he grabbed tight as he was swung off his back into the branches above. A big, rough-looking female squirrel with a loaded sling dangling from one paw winked at him. "Don't thee say a word now, Long Ears. Be still." Sighting the rats entering the fir grove, she glared fiercely about at her 40-odd squirrels, similarly armed, concealed in the upper branches. "Take no prisoners. The dark forest with them all." Whack, thwack, thock, thud. In less time than it took to draw breath, the rat column was slain to a beast, strewn about the bottom of the pines, some of with their eyes still wide open, and leaving Fleetscott still caught up in the net. The squirrel and her band leapt down onto the corpses, stripping them of every scrap of armor and every weapon from them. Squabbles broke out over the ownership of possession, and there was much tooth-bearing. "I sighted yon sword first. Give it here." "Nah, 'tis mine, not thine. I slew the long-tail." The big female squirrel was among them like a whirlwind, sending argumentative ones winded to the earth as she clubbed their stomachs savagely with her loaded swing. "I say who gets what. Up on thy paws, Bettle, or I'll give you more than just a love tap next time." The young mill muttered something, and she laid him flat with a tremendous smack. "They've been told about using language like that, Grood. Can you not see we've got company? Behave now, all ye." Fleetscott strove to disentangle himself from the net. "Stat me, any bloomin' chance of getting out of this, you chaps? Lend me a paw here," he called down. The female squirrel and 2 equally big males bounded up and lowered the net expertly to the earth, where the other ones had Fleetscott free. Somersaulting nearly out of the tree, the big female landed lightly on her footpaws. Fleetscott bowed gravely to her. "Thanks for saving my life, Martin." She examined the dead rat's bow and arrows. "'Twasn't to save thy life we dropped them. Weapons and plunder. That's why we slew the longtails. I'm called Juka, the Sling, and these are my tribe. Be you from the mountain south of here?" The hare nodded. "Aye, my name's Fleetscott." Juka sat, her tail brushed against the pine tree. "You've got big trouble over there, Fleetscott. We've been watching blue vermin marching down the coast for days, all headed for thy mountain." Fleetscott crouched down facing her. "That's only a third of them, Jukamarm. There's as many must have come up from the south, another horde from the sea. Great fleet of blighters." Juka watched her band dragging the rats off for burial. "Old Badger'll have his paws full. They'll massacre him. Hares on your mountain be as old as thee. Thy young'uns are long gone from there." Fleetscott was mildly surprised at Juka's intelligence. "You seem to know rather a lot about Salamandastron." The squirrel wound up her sling around her tail tip. 'Tis my business to know what goes on hither and yon. Only a fool can live a lifetime in these parts, and know naught of them. Did ye escape from the mountain, Fleececut? The old hare shook his. No, I was sent out by Lord Stonepaw to scout up reinforcements. But there bally a hare around here anymore. Don't suppose you'd fancy helping us out, marm? Juka tossed the slingshot deftly from one paw to the other. Nay, not I, nor my tribe. Even though I pity thy plight, friend, other creatures' troubles are not my own, not ours. But that doesn't mean we don't show hospitality to guests. Thee must be weary and hungered too. Come rest a while and sup with us. Though thou art too tired to go further, friend. Fleet heaved a heavy sigh as he rose stiffly. Sorry, Mom, but I have to travel on what? Can't let the jolly side down by taking time off. He accepted Juka's paw, and she smiled wearily at him. Fare thee well, Olum. Fortune attend thy search. Aye, and good luck to you, Juka the Sling. Let me know if you change your mind. You've got a perilous tribe there. Good warriors all. Juka watched Fleececut lope off through the pine groves. Huh, brave and foolish like all hares. What say you, Groot? The young squirrel muttered half to himself, half to Juka. She whacked him soundly across both ears. You've been told about that language. I've scrubbed thy mouth out with sand and ransoms if there'll be any of it. Always remember to like and subscribe for more amazing readings.